Hello, I'm Admiral Ellis of the TTO, and welcome back to the Admiral's Musings. Of course, as I said in last week's video, today will be all about things that have gone wrong. Now, if you recall, the last thing I read aloud was the Menu Bargain for the Universe, which was a mission report of a mission which went exceptionally well. I say mission report because it's the closest thing to that I can release, basically, in the form of a short story, really, a novella. But over here I have a bunch more. Now they're not all up and ready to be read yet. Most of them are still in the process of being typed out. And of course I remember things as I go. It's quite tough to keep 200 years of memory in line. But I mean, as you recall, things don't always go well. If you listen to Welcome to the TTO, you'll know that. We had the entire replicator issue within right at the very beginning of the mission it started. And we essentially just had to turn a simple repair mission into a fight our way out of this situation. There are a lot of times where that's happened. Simple mission just goes completely sideways. Now, the Menu Bargain for the Universe was not perfect. We know that. At the very end, where I'm rescuing Gregory, it kind of goes sideways, but we managed to get out of it, and everything kind of goes well. But there are situations which have gone a lot worse. Some threaten life and limb, of course. Some worse. There's one which I am in the process of putting down and have really not gotten to yet. It's very low on my list of priorities at the moment. But it involves the Admiral and it meeting its own end. Now, that is a huge thing that happened to me, and it's even painful to think about, despite the fact that I'm getting a new ship. It's in the process of being built. We don't even have a name for it yet, but it's one of the first ships that the TTO will have built, other than, I believe Lucky Number 13 was built in the 200s, I think? Maybe even earlier. But I have over here one particular instance where things did go terribly wrong. And it, believe it or not, started off as not a recovery mission, it just started off as an information gathering mission. I went out to a planet. What was the name? Can't recall the name. But I went out there, just Sarah and myself. Well, Deborah brought us there, so I had pretty much everyone with me. I had Sarah and, Sarah, Darren and Alec, and Harkness, I believe. Let me just pull this up over here. It seems to have disappeared. I'm going to need that. In order to keep track of myself, I built a document that's just a timeline of where I was at what point in my life. Oh, there you are. Sorcerer's Daughter, aptly named, really. And she was the problem, believe it or not. We go down to this planet, right? And apparently there's a little prophecy going on involving the death of the Master Sorcerer. Nothing I had anything to do with. Kingdom of Majesto. They actually didn't really have a name for their planet because they didn't know it was a planet. Kind of medievalish. You know how things get. When magic is involved, technology doesn't tend to advance as much as you'd hope. It's kind of weird. But there was a whole prophecy going on with the death of the Master Sorcerer and what would be done with his daughter after, basically, when the convicted man is found. Now, while I'm there taking the survey, or making the survey, he gets killed. Just my luck, right? And then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by guards. So I'm taken before the High Court. Prime Minister says, basically, it's up to Grace, which is the name of the Sorcerer's daughter, if you're guilty or not. She said, yeah, he's guilty. Just probably because she was pissed off and she just wanted to lay the blame on somebody. That meant she basically screwed the both of us over, because the whole situation is, I now basically, I mean, I guess they didn't expect someone of my age or appearance to kill the Master Sorcerer, but that's what they think happened, I guess. So now I got handcuffed to her until she's come of age. Now she comes of age when she kills me. Yeah, I bet you want to hear how I got out of that one. Well, it's not done yet, and you'll hear about it when it is done. Or you'll hear about it as I work on it, maybe. Depending on how this pans out. My time is still taken up by other projects that aren't related to the TTO. So I can't chronicle the development of my stories as I wish I could. Now that's one... they're not regular handcuffs, by the way, just to... If you're getting worried about... Well, first of all... Okay, let me put this into perspective here. Me and Sarah, who you know, I can't show you, obviously, but picture light blue luminescent girl with short-cut hair and very sassy and sarcastic and, you know, about as tall as I am, so she is actually about as tall as I am, which is kind of funny. Not sure if she did that on purpose. I'm not sure if she had any say in that. Might have just been the modified code I had to give her. My goodness, I'm losing it. You know how if you travel a lot, like by airplane, and you go through time zones and stuff, it screws you over? Yeah, time travel does that, except like 100 times worse. I don't know how the Doctor or any of his companions put up with it, or if they do, or if they don't, and it just shows them putting up with it in the TV show, because they can be very selective about what stories they tell and how they spin them. It seems like everything happens on Earth and everything happens in London, but you'd be surprised. Oh yeah, so the handcuffs. Sarah looks 14. I mean, I think looks 15 now. She's trying to age with me, but she's having difficulty because of the way her coding is. It's very, very screwed up. She was a virus originally, and she was adapted by some kid, basically, to be a companion. Now, then when I, not to say inherited her, but when we got her, she was corrupted very badly. And I had to start pulling things apart, which is a story for another day, but needless to say, it was a very painful thing to do to start pulling Sarah's conscience apart and basically just kludging the code back together. So she's trying to age with me, I guess, and she's having some issues with that. But Jade is actually a little bit younger, I think, at this point in time. Let me check my timeline. The Mall, the Rise of Devereaux. This is well after the Rise of Devereaux. So, oh, this is after. It's even after the Men Who Bargained for the Universe. So we have Gregory on board as well. Forgot about that. We have Gregory, we have Harkness, and then Darren and Alec, Cyber Buddy, who you haven't met yet. And of course Sarah and myself. But the handcuffs, didn't get to that. Gold handcuffs. If you guys, there's a particular episode of Stargate where they deal with these. There is a master handcuff, and then there's the essentially slave handcuff. Now, if they get too far apart, it poisons both of them. Reason being is the master should not let the prisoner get too far away. If the prisoner, or no, if the master dies, it poisons the prisoner. If the prisoner dies, it doesn't poison the master. I'm pretty sure in this version. I think it would in another version, in like the default ones, but these are changed. Basically, they're my incentive to keep her alive until she kills me. Or else I will die. That becomes an issue. Now I'm trying, basically the entire premise is me trying to talk her down from A, thinking I murdered her father, and B, killing me. What else went terribly wrong other than, oh right, well, there's something that I need to get to very soon, or not very soon, but it'll come after the Welcome to the TTO is done. Once I get through the other parts of that, then I'll get into the Rise of Devereaux. which introduces Devereaux, the city ship, as my home, basically. Now, you've already listened to a story. I've already released a story with Devereaux in it. That's because only the first section, only Welcome to the TTO, is only in Welcome to the TTO is the Admiral, my main ship. After that, it gets pushed aside, and basically the fourth Doctor always had a thing for the Admiral. He used to fly it a lot, of course. He lived a long time, but he eventually kind of got phased out. When a Doctor is getting ready to regenerate, you see them less and less, more and more sparingly. And then eventually they just don't ever show up again. And you realize that, hey, well, the other guy that's here, the one that's later, he's obviously taken over fully now. Also, the TTO, we know for you guys, the 12th Doctor has just kind of come out. We've been seeing him, though. I'm trying to adjust the chair. We've been seeing him, though, for, I don't know, at least a couple decades on Mabel's, but very, very seldom have we seen him, and he's trying to stay out of sight of at least the 9th, 10th, and 11th, because they're the ones that, I guess, he's concerned with only after the War Doctor. By the way, the War Doctor never came to Mabel's, as far as I'm sure. As far as I know in the records, he's never come to Mabel's, which is a shame, because he's my favorite. Now, maybe he'll show up one of these days, but I know he lived a long time, and that entire time he fought the Time War. He basically didn't take time. He never had a companion. He didn't have the problem the 11th did, where he basically would go mad if he didn't have a companion. If you guys recall from a town called Mercy, I think it was, where the Doctor just started screaming. He didn't have that problem because he hadn't basically used the moment yet. Oh, I was going to get to the Rise of Devereaux, this very, very big issue with Devereaux, and then ends with the Continuum being screwed up entirely, involving Aperture Science, involving Weeping Angels, and involving the Long Night of Solace again. It's actually when the Long Night of Solace is introduced, I think. I don't think there's any mention of it in Welcome to the TTO, so that's when the Long Night of Solace is introduced as our science vessel. It's when the War Machine is introduced as well. He's really cool. The Steambird, though. Steambird you guys haven't heard about yet. That's in the next part of Welcome to the TTO, and it's actually why I'm kind of apprehensive about getting to it, because I want to write... I have new images in my head of what the Steambird is from the old version of Welcome to the TTO, which was, frankly, crap. This is going to be much better than that one, which is why I only gave you the first part. Welcome to the TTO is technically done, but I'm rewriting it. It was the first thing I wrote, frankly, it just wasn't very well written. So the Steambird, you'll be seeing that. That is one of my personal craft, and it comes in handy quite often. It's powered by the Steam Ball. Steam Ball is odd. It's basically a sphere with a connection pipe on the top, and you just kind of plug it into something and twist it into place, and then open the valve, and it's not actually steam. It's not water vapor, to say. It's its own kind of gas that we manufacture, which has steam. It has water vapor, rather. It has lubricant. It has nanites, I think. That was kind of Halsey's area of expertise. No, sorry. That was Beckett's area. That's when we brought in, actually, medical technicians, because the War Machine was alive, or as close to alive as a dumb AI can be inside a robot suit. It has nanites in it. It has the kind of, I guess they're equatable to electrolytes. They're fuel for the nanites, which are their own kind of particle that is other things to strengthen and maintain the pipes, and of course, as I said, there's the steam which powers it. This whole thing is super condensed, like hundreds of psi in this ball, and we didn't have a name for it, so we just simply called it steamium. And I know it sounds really generic, but it's frankly the only thing we could agree on. Everyone else just wanted to, you know, put their name on the top of the pile and say, no, name it after me. Scientists get that way. No offense, scientists, but I know how you are. Once you're an immortal scientist, I think the ego gets a little bit bigger. As if Halsey knew when to restrain herself. No offense, Halsey, but she did some crazy things in the name of humanity. I mean, I'm running kind of long here, so I guess I'll just see you guys next week. I'll probably talk some more instead of releasing a story, because now I've run out of completed things. And I'll just tell you guys what I work on. Also, some other things I should tell you about. Mission I'm planning, or well, mission I'm planning to write down, rather. It's been done. It was during the Ninth Doctor's farewell party, right before the Bad Wolf incident. Actually, it's before the Bad Wolf incident, because he went straight from he went straight from Cardiff to that. Now, I'm trying to remember what was before that. That was with the Slovene lady who wanted to blow up Cardiff and put a nuclear power plant. Jesus Christ, how did anyone fall for that? But whatever was before that, and then he said, basically, I'm going, and he went there because despite what he may have let on, we kind of knew that something was wrong in Cardiff, because we're on the other side of the Cardiff Rift, and when something goes on our Mabel's is on the other side of the Cardiff Rift, like the out of the universe side, and on the first side, or on the universe side, is Cardiff, England, of course, and we kind of know what happens, and Torchwood is there, and that's why we're so interlinked. Even though we don't have that much interaction, Harkness kind of jumps back and forth. It's very strange the way he operates. Either way, I'll talk to you guys next week, and I'll be whipping up my new bargain for the universe into a full package and be dropping that at some point. And remember, keep on looking at the stars.